Welcome to the IME Community Podcast, where self-love is your superpower to achieve your weight and life goals and make your mark in the world. Your host is Dr. Karla, activist, MD. If you're a teen who's looking to revolutionize your health and can't wait to follow your dreams, welcome to the IME Community.
Community members, thanks for listening to the second coaching call. As I said before, we're just building this community together. So I will keep offering these coaching calls on the YouTube video and the podcast. So it's really exciting. And what I thought that I would coach you all on tonight is when we feel stuck and getting out of stuckness, which I don't even know if that's a word. Sounds like it should be. And I was creating and working on the connect tab, so the messaging board in IME community, and there's a place that you can put, that I can put a post, and I could either designate it as a super sticky post, so it's at the top always, or just sticky. And so the code of conduct, again, is super sticky, and I want you to review it and that's going to stay up there. But what I thought about was, oh my gosh, we have so many like super sticky thoughts, or just sticky thoughts, or super sticky means they're really like almost like a belief. And so as we're moving toward learning how to create transformation and to move forward with taking action or making change in our lives, I was thinking about what are some of the super stickies that are really maybe keeping us in the status quo of where we are, because that's kind of where our bodies sit and our brains is. We're just kind of status quo homeostasis machines, which makes sense. And it's, job of our brain and our bodies to kind of keep us where we are. And so that's what they're going to do. We have this thing called the motivational triad that humans all want to, seek comfort, avoid pain, and seek pleasure. And so that's kind of our default go-to. And so when we're faced with, oh gosh, we're going to be pushed to move forward with, massive action, reaching our seemingly impossible goals or chasing our dreams, it's like, oh, that's all exciting. And then what comes up sometimes are the super stickies, or maybe just the stickies that are coming up that are like, whoa, that are beneath the surface, and they're kind of brewing up and bubbling up. And those are important to have some awareness of, and to do the thought work, like we've talked about a lot, the thought work around those to show what those are and shine a light on those. And that awareness is really all it takes to start showing yourself and proving to yourself that thoughts are optional and beliefs are optional. And so you don't even know a lot of times. It's so surprising to me. The work is amazing. I found one today when I was working with my coach that I had a fixed and limited belief, and I didn't have any idea that was coming up for me and causing a feeling of annoyed. And I was only creating that for myself. So one of the things I want you to start thinking about is, what are the like super stickies, the beliefs that you have bought into in our society, in our culture, about people who struggle with weight. And I thought, we have all of this movement that's kind of a reactive movement, which is wonderful and great, to try to address some of the phobias that have come up around people struggling with weight. And I'm all for all of it. That's a big part of what we're doing. But I'm also here to say I'm supporting you as an individual with your health goals, right? Let's have body positivity, and let's work to decrease stigma and shame and bias that's out there in our society and our culture. But we're here to live our big magic individual creative lives. We're not here to fix, improve, and convince and change up everything. We can't do that in our lifetimes. What you do to show up and tend to the causes is super important, but like creating and finding your supportive communities like I Am a Community, and using your individual gifts and creating your personal vision statement and moving toward your ideal self, that's all the transformational work that I'm going to encourage you and help you and be your backup singer as you're the rock star doing. But when you start to consider this work, the super stickies are going to come up. And so I thought, I wonder if some of the super stickies and sticky beliefs that might be coming up for some of you, maybe actually some of our society and culture's biases and stigma that you've heard or bought into yourself. And I want you to take the time to we talked about doing a thought download and to doing a brain dump and monkey mind writing. We have these active minds. It's amazing. And to spend some time writing it down. Like, what are the beliefs? Like, am I actually believing that too? Because that's going to be a super sticky that's going to keep you stuck. I was thinking about, what keeps us stuck? And it's always our thoughts. And we've talked about our past self, and our past self is just our thoughts about our past self. And you may have thoughts about your past self that are super stickies that aren't going to be helpful for you moving forward. If you continue to believe that those are true, and you continue to, even with awareness, choose to continue to believe those. Okay. And we need to start having awareness of the thoughts and beliefs so that then we can start to let those soften up and dissipate and recognize they're just a rainbow that's going to come and go, a sentence going by, or a cloud in our mind. So there's the known. There's just our past. That's our thoughts about our past. You can create any thoughts or beliefs about you and your past that are helpful to you. Okay? If you sit down and do some work and write down and find out, this is what I'm thinking about myself, that I'll never be at a healthy weight, and I've got all this evidence. I've got all this evidence through all these years that I'm stuck here. And my whole family's like this, and that's just the way they are. And I've tried these things, or I'm not going to try anything. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. Or maybe you're like, it's okay, like status quo, it's fine. There's no problem here, and that's fine. But your thoughts about your past self are really powerful, and it's really important to figure out what you're automatically thinking about yourself and your past self, so that you can create thoughts about your past self, or what is known, that will serve you as you're moving forward. So then there's always the unknown, right? So our future self is the unknown. And all the mindfulness and all the Buddhists and everybody who's, I follow a lot of these people, I think they're amazing. And they talk about, there is only now, and be in the present moment. And I figure, gosh, am I going to have to turn to Buddhism to learn this skill and the meditation that I would have to do? And I don't have time for that. And, I could do some of it and learn to breathe and mindfulness, and all that's amazing. And it's getting better, but being in the present moment, it's just a skill and a practice, right? And so if there is only now, then our known, that we can create how we think and what we believe about our known, our past self, and also what we want to believe and create for a vision statement for ourselves, for the unknown, for the future self. And we talked about creating community in 21, which is a really amazing action that's going to help support you to get to where you want to be. But a lot of times we talk about what is the problem moving forward and taking action is fear of failure or self-doubt, and using all of our old past self and evidence that we believe shows us, oh, look it up. Our brain's going to keep offering them. Look at that. You can't do that. Look at you. You can't do that. So when anything comes up as you're moving forward with action, then your mind just goes back to those old beliefs that are the super stickies that aren't going to help you. So what are the super stickies or the sticky beliefs about your past self or your known that maybe aren't serving you? And how can you create a super sticky or a sticky belief about your past self? And you can do that right now. That will serve you. And as you're moving forward, you can create a super sticky personal vision statement that will make you excited and give you the energy and the positive emotions to move forward with taking the massive action, knowing that, of course, we're all going to have failures, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're not going to be able to control the outcomes. And so I was thinking that, we talk about fear of failure a lot and taking risk and disappointment. But I think that if we really thought about the future, we could call it the unknown. And I believe that it's the unknown that is the most scary. And when you embrace all possibilities and that the universe is working with you and for you as you move forward in your life, and you welcome all emotions, then you can do anything. And that's really, practicing that self-love and having your own back. When we think that we can have a solution and we get really solution focused and we look for one singular solution that will give us all of the outcomes that we believe that we're going to get as we move forward, we're going to be really disappointed. We are complex beings. We have no idea what's going to happen at any moment, and we don't cause and we don't control, and we can't fix and solve our lives. We're not meant to do that. So what we can decide is how we're going to show up and where we're going to put our attentional focus and where we're going to put the power to focus our mind moving forward. And when I say we have no idea, you can't control it. You have no way to predict if what you try is going to be a complete success or for you and reach your expected outcome, or if it's going to just be a flop and a complete dud. You have absolutely no idea. And isn't that wonderful? Because there's never anything going wrong. And when you're open to that, what you're going to discover, and this is a really cool thing about being an entrepreneur, and I talk a lot about like the start with why and Simon Sinek, and major successful business leaders start with the why, and companies do, and same thing for individuals, and you're your own president and CEO. And so you are moving forward with that massive action, and you're not afraid to fail, and you're not afraid to take risk. And one of the cool things that happens is when you're willing to put yourself out there in the arena, and what's a better reason to put yourself out there than for your own health, right? You've got all the power. You're owning your health power, right? You're owning it. You will discover what are called strategic byproducts. There will be so many things, like if you're making an investment in your health, then you're going to get a return on investment, right? You're going to get, maybe have more energy. You're going to love maybe the clothes that you buy. You're going to feel better physically. Maybe a lot of your health issues are going to feel better. You're going to prove that you have your own back and you have integrity to figure it out for yourself. You're cultivating a goal for yourself. And you're going to discover all these other amazing things that are like all of the strategic byproducts that when I started IME Community, and I just started it, one of the cool things that happened was I noticed that some of the health systems were putting themselves out there more and doing more. And I thought that is so cool. Like if that is a strategic byproduct of me launching IME Community, is that health systems are going to rise to a higher occasion. And I got doctors from across the country, not a ton yet, but I will, and I'm forming the Activist MD network. And doctors are saying, this is amazing. I want a different way forward. I really want to help my patients in this way too. And it's just such a cool thing. And I've had an opportunity to talk to them. And those are strategic byproducts. That's the value that you're going to get. So you're going to be open to discovery as you move forward through the unknown. It's going to be incredible. I learned that about myself with my weight loss journey. I learned that I knew I could reach a goal. Like I knew that, but I really didn't know like what an intense goal slayer I was until I did that journey. And I also didn't know like what worked for me and how I could figure things out until I did that journey. So I learned that, I knew I was a conceptual thinker, but I knew that, I do have to have the information, not a whole lot, but it really has to make sense to me. And that knowledge is power to me. And I'm unwilling to start something and move forward into the unknown without the information. And so that was a really cool thing. I also learned that I don't typically like to duplicate things I've already done. So for me, this was a major, really learning opportunity. And I feel like I'm always like forward moving. So that's why I made that commitment to figure something out. I also wasn't going to start or make any changes in my eating until I knew that that's how I would continue to eat. Like I would figure out that I would continue to eat, because it's silly to say, I'm going to make these changes and then reach this goal and then I'm done. Unless you just want to prove that your body can respond in that way, which then you've reached your goal. And if you like your reasons, you like why, that's fine. But you'll find out so many amazing things. And so one of the things I was going to coach you on too is that when you feel like you're stuck, I'm going to offer you a couple other options or ways to think about it, because thinking you're stuck is not helpful. Okay. And you can decide not to decide. And that was one thing I learned through life coaching is so helpful, is as we're learning to make decisions, and we're making conscious decisions for ourselves and whether to move forward with action, doing this thought work is action. It's action. It's taking massive action. It's taking a lot of massive action. Sorry, my dog's barking. She's terrible at barking. Instead of feeling like you're stuck or saying, I'm just stuck, you can decide not to decide. Maybe the timing isn't right for you. There's nothing going wrong if you decide not to decide right now. Maybe you're not ready to make a decision. Maybe you don't have all the information. Maybe you have a lot of other things going on. Yeah. Deciding not to decide is still making a very conscious decision that serves you. You can like your reasons. I've done that before. And there's nothing going wrong. You can redecide later. That's a good decision for you. If you like your reasons, no problem. So you are taking action. You are taking massive action by deciding not to decide. You can also think of it, instead of staying stuck, if decide not to decide doesn't work, oftentimes when we don't know that we want to move forward, we're at a stage of change, of maybe pre-contemplation. And there's different stages of change, and pre-contemplation means that you have some ambivalence. And what ambivalence means is you got pros and you got cons, and they're coming up in your mind. Okay. you maybe want to do it, but there's other things that are kind of keeping you back. They may be the super sticky beliefs or thoughts, or just the stickies. And so that's why it's good to do that thought work. And you can resolve that ambivalence by having awareness. Like, you may be like, I really want to do this, but I don't know if the time is right. I really want to do this, but I'm afraid because I've tried a lot of things before and nothing's really worked for me. And so I'm just not sure about it. I think I want to do this, but it sounds like it could be really hard. And I don't want to make like changes for the rest of my life because I'm just super young and I don't know if I want to like do this right now. So you can decide, but you're definitely not stuck as you're doing that thought work. You're not stuck. You are working through the stages of change. And then you may be able to create your own like pros and cons list. Like, what is my desired outcome? What will I achieve? What are the consequences potentially of this massive action change I want to make in my life? Moving into the unknown, because you're going to move into the future, right? You might as well work this out for yourself and slay your goals, right? And you can come up with your own pros and cons list. And the pros is like so exciting. Like, what's my desired outcome? What's my why? What's my commitment to this? And then the cons, like, what do I have to lose if I don't? What do I have to gain if I do this? And what are the obstacles in my way? And then you are making that kind of self-directed change in your life. So thinking of the known or your past self, you can change up the super stickies if they're not helpful or they're fixed or limited beliefs. And even if there's some of society and culture's beliefs that you bought into, you can challenge those. Is it true? Can I prove that that's true? How do I react when I believe that's true? Well, you're not moving forward, right? You're causing yourself to be here in the now, like to be in the present situation, and it's keeping you from moving fully into the unknown future to take action. So you can change it up and shift once you have awareness of the super stickies. It's sticky beliefs that are coming up for you about your past self and the known, and create something that's amazing, that's helpful for you about your past self. You can write a letter from your present self to your past self. Then you want to create your personal vision statement as you enter into the unknown. And you have your own back. You're excited, you're curious, no matter what. You fully love and accept yourself, no matter what. And you believe it. And you're just curious and you're going to figure it out. And if you feel like I'm not ready for that part of it, and then you can decide not to decide. There's never anything going wrong. And you know you have all the time to figure it out. And you can also try to look at some of the maybe ambivalence, the pros and the cons that are just coming up in your mind, and the fear of the unknown. And then you can, once you have awareness of that, then you can resolve it. So I hope that's really helpful. I hope you think about like, what are some of the super stickies or the stickies that are coming up for you? Okay, that's your thought work. And some of it is in the 10 steps to self-trust eating. It's uncovering beliefs and then how you feel about yourself and your dreams coming true and your future self. And so I'm really going to encourage you to do that work, because you will find out a lot about yourself. And this is a journey of self-discovery and awareness and shifting the power of our mind to where we want to focus on, so that we can move to create the results that we want. I'll see you in the community.
Thank you for tuning in to the IME Community Podcast, where self-love is your superpower. The content of this podcast represents the opinions of Dr. Karla Lester and is not intended as, and shall not be understood as, a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The opinions shared reflect the host and guest and do not represent an organization or medical group. Always seek the advice of your physician or therapist if you have concerns about your health. And please, like and subscribe to the IME Community Podcast. Share IME with your friends and go to imecommunity.com to join the member community. Don't forget to follow IME on social.